Let's talk about this new city, this Egyptian city that was buried in sand for over 3,000 years. This is very cool. Check this out. All right, this is from the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. All right, Dr. Zani Hawass announces the discovery of the lost city in Luxor. The Egyptian mission headed by Dr. Zahi Hawass discovered the lost city under the sand, which was called Ascension of Aton, which dates back to the region of King Amenhotep III. The city continued to be used by King Tutankhamun, and that is 3,000 years old. I'm just going to read this too because Zahi Hawass announced the discovery of the lost golden city in Luxor. The Egyptian mission found the city that was lost under the sands and called the Rise of Aten. The city is 3,000 years old, dates to the reign of Amenhotep III, and continued to be used by Tutankhamun and I. Look at this. This is awesome. These are different artifacts that they found. That is beautiful. It still has color. Look at that blue. I'll go down here and give you some more here. All right, this is very cool, and I found a really amazing write-up on it. Let's see, is this it? Oh, here. So this is I just have a few pictures of different things. Look at the ink on this. It is beautiful. Here's some more of the artifacts that they found. I really can't tell what these are, but very cool. Look at that huge pot. Amazing, amazing. I got a couple more images. This looks like a necklace of some sort. Little tiny pot. Very cute. All right, so this is a great article that I found that sums it up very nicely. 3,400 years ago, a contentious ancient Egyptian king abandoned his name, his religion, and his capital in Thebes, modern Luxor. Archaeologists know what happened next. The pharaoh Akhenaten built the short-lived city of Akhetaten, where he ruled alongside his wife Nefertiti and worshipped the sun. They praised the sun. After his death, his young son Tutankhamun became ruler of Egypt and turned his back on his father's controversial legacy. But did he, though? Or was he stabbed in the back and killed as a youth, and then thus ending the reign of the pharaohs? Anyway, that's another story. But why did Akhenaten abandon Thebes, which has been the capital of ancient Egypt for more than 150 years? Answers may lie in the discovery of an industrial royal metropolis within Thebes that Akhenaten inherited from his father, Amenhotep III. The find, which has been dubbed the Lost Golden City of Luxor, in an announcement released today, will generate as much enthusiasm, speculation, and controversy as the renegade pharaoh who left it. Amazing. Akhenaten, who left the Golden City for the new capital of Amarna, encouraged a startlingly different style of Egyptian art. Yes, Amarna actually, they almost tried to destroy Amarna because they were all about the balance between the masculine and the feminine, which is actually like classical Egyptian, and worshiping the sun and maintaining it. It's a really cool. I'm getting sidetracked because it's not really about Amarna here, but really cool. I love Egyptian everything. Because the city was initially discovered just in September of last year, archaeologists have only scratched the surface of the sprawling site. And understanding where this discovery ranks in Egyptological importance is hard to say at this time, and the level of preservation found so far, however, has impressed researchers. There is no doubt about it. It really is a phenomenal find, says Salima Ikram, an archaeologist who leads the American University in Cairo's Egyptology unit. It's very much a snapshot in time, an Egyptian version of Pompeii. Very, very cool. The site dates from the era of the 18th dynasty pharaoh Amenhotep III, who ruled between 1386 and 1353 BC, and presided over an era of extraordinary wealth, power, and luxury. In Amenhotep III's final years, he is thought to have briefly reigned alongside his son, Akhenaten. But a few years after his father's death, Akhenaten, who ruled from around 1353 and 1336, broke with everything the late ruler stood for. During his 17-year reign, he upended Egyptian culture, abandoning all the traditional Egyptian pantheon but one, the sun god Aten. He even changed his name from Amenhotep IV to Akhenaten, which means devoted to Aten. The heretic pharaoh didn't stop there. Akhenaten moved his royal seat from Thebes north to a completely new city he called Akhetaten. Modern site name is Amarna. And oversaw an artistic revolution that briefly transformed Egyptian art from stiff and uniform to animated and detailed and colorful also. They didn't add that, but it absolutely they absolutely added so much color in the art at this time. But after his death, most traces of the ruler were obliterated, starting with his son, the boy king Tutankhamun. Akhenaten's capital, his art and religion, and even his name were dismissed and systematically wiped from history. Only the rediscovery of Amarna in the 18th century revived the legacy of the renegade leader, which has fueled archaeological speculation for hundreds of years. Why and how did the pharaoh's controversial transformation take place, and what was everyday life under the great Amenhotep III? The newly found city could provide clues. The excavation site straddles old and new in an area renowned for its archaeological riches. To the north is Amenhotep III's 14th century BC mortuary temple, and to the south is Medinet Habu, a mortuary temple built almost 2 centuries later for Ramses III. Oh, here's this. This is a hieroglyphic inscriptions found on clay caps of wine vessels at the site helped to date the city of the time of Amenhotep III. Oh, that's a wine cap. Very cool, very cool. Archaeologists had hoped the space between might be the site of the mortuary structure where Tutankhamun's subjects would have placed the food and funerary items they offered him when he died around 1325 BC. Instead, they uncovered something very different. Zigzagging mud brick walls up to 9 feet high and piles of ancient artifacts from the era of Amenhotep III. Structures are packed with everyday items, many of which relate to the artistic and industrial production that supported the pharaoh's capital city. There are homes where workers might have lived, a bakery, and a kitchen items related to metal and glass production, buildings that appeared related to administration, and even cemetery filled with rock-cut tombs. I believe this is a cow. 2 unusual burials of a cow or bull were found inside a room in the city. Investigations are underway to determine the nature and purpose of these animal burials. Well, maybe they were the family pets. Though the size of the city has yet to be determined, its date is clear thanks to hieroglyphics on a variety of items. A vessel containing 2 gallons of boiled meat was inscribed with the year 37, the time of Amenhotep III and Akhenaten's speculated father-son reign. Scarabs, bricks, vessels, and more bear Amenhotep III's royal seal. The buildings also bear his soon-to-be heretic son's name, says Betsy Bryan, a professor of Egyptian art and archaeology at Johns Hopkins University. Bryan, who was not involved in the dig, visited on a day when archaeologists found a small clay ceiling stamped with hieroglyphs that said, "The Aten is found living on truth." That is an epitaph of Akhenaten, Bryan notes. Despite references to the younger king, though, she says the city is part of his father's palace complex to the north, which was named Neb Matre, or the Dazzling Aten. Very cool. That's very cool. Once Akhenaten came into power and changed course, he left his father's city and seemingly everything it contained behind. That loss is modern archaeology's gain. It's extraordinarily beautiful, says Ikram. She recalls walking through the preserved streets, surrounded by tall walls, where she said she expected an ancient Egyptian to come around the corner at any moment. "I don't think you can oversell it," she said. "It is mind-blowing." And this is one of these scarabs with some little guys. I don't know if these are legs. Let's see. It doesn't amulets. Just a scarab and amulets. Very cool though. The city appears to have been reused by Tutankhamun, who ditched Akhenaten during his reign but established a new capital at Memphis. who later inherited the throne when he married Tut's widow, seems to have used it too. 4 distinct settlement layers at the site show eras of use all the way into the Coptic Byzantine era of the 3rd through the 7th centuries AD. Then it was left to the sands until recent discovery. But why was it abandoned during the brief reign of Akhenaten? I don't know that we'll get closer to answering this question through this particular city, says Brian. What we will get is more and more information about Amenhotep III, Akhenaten, and their families. It's early days, but I think we'll see more and more connections. Through the newly discovered city may not give up clues to the mystery of the rebel pharaoh, it will plant an even more vivid picture of the life he left behind. I gotta say, one of my bucket list items in life is to go to Egypt. I think ancient human beings that was the center of the earth at the time. There was a thriving community there, like this ancient time beings. Like, what are the pyramids to you? Like, I did a deep dive on Nikola Tesla, and he was obsessed with the pyramids. He went to Egypt many times in his youth and studied them. And I just want to go stand in front of them, whether or not what you believe they are. I have my own beliefs, and it's interesting. I believe they had unlocked secrets of certain technologies that we are only beginning to understand now. Again, I guess, rediscover nowadays. Tesla had an incredible fascination with them and talked about sending energy out, and he even claimed that he learned it by studying the pyramids, and that's pretty incredible. I have an article that I have saved over here that talks about how, this breakthrough study says that we can charge your phones through the air, and I'm like, kind of like what Tesla said he could do 120 years ago. They say, well, it's his dream that he wanted to make happen, but copper reigns supreme, and it's like, you mean JP Morgan said we can't sell free energy like this? We're going to make more money on copper and selling, running lines everywhere. Feels like a whole nother conversation. Anyway, I talk about it in my Tesla deep dive. Great episode. Someone in chat just said earth energy. Yeah, telluric current, and definitely understanding just magnetic energy. And I don't know, look at this UFO. It's floating. I'm going to spin it for y'all right now. Aliens. Anyway, so yeah, that's very cool. I would love to go see. I'm very excited to see what happens from here. I know Amarna was a very amazing place that the priests that basically took over and got rid of the weight of the heart and are the ones that got rid of Tutankhamun, because he was a young child and his father basically wanted to redo what everything happened. And Amarna was a beautiful time, a really cool place. It deserves its own little deep dive.